In a world where connection is just a click away, where every moment is shared, and where the digital landscape is constantly evolving, there's one phenomenon that has changed the way that we live, communicate, and connect with the world around us: social media. Social media has become an integral part of our daily lives. We can see this through when we roll over and we wake up, and the first thing we do is grab our phones and start scrolling through Instagram, start scrolling through Facebook, or when we're waiting in line or in an elevator, and instead of talking to people, we're watching TikToks, going through Reels, anything to stay connected digitally. Staying connected with the world through Facebook status updates or stories on Snapchat or Reels on Instagram or anything else that we use to show our lives and show what we're doing is a major part of how this generation communicates. With that being said, it raises the question of, what if you don't get social media? What if it's just not something you're into? What if you're not interested in connecting in that way? Are you doomed to be left behind and alone and constantly behind society, constantly behind on trends, constantly behind on news? What does that mean for you being able to have conversations with people, with your peers especially, if you aren't in the spaces that they're in? Are you just left behind? What if you just don't get it? There is a very distinct feeling of me not understanding why people want to share the random things they do around their lives with strangers. What makes getting up and making breakfast or avocado toast or driving to work, what makes that worthy of sharing versus something that, that's not worthy of sharing? Brushing your teeth or feeding your cat. Do you share that too? It's even more confusing that people actually do want to see random shit that strangers are posting. They do. They're entertained by it, and I feel like I'm missing something by not being interested. And it's not like I don't care about other people or I don't care about their lives or what they're dealing with or going through. It's just that I made breakfast too, and I fed my cat this morning too. So why should I click on or log on to see that someone else has done it? Outside of me just, not being super interested in strangers and what strangers are doing, it's like there are other things to be doing than looking at what other people are doing. Things that I would rather be doing than scrolling through someone else's life include reading fan fiction, watching Bob's Burgers, playing with my cat, sleeping, filming a YouTube video. My aversion to social media isn't something that's new. I remember not understanding from the very beginning when my parents first brought home our first computer and they put it in the hallway for everyone to be able to access. And I remember my siblings, my older siblings, hopping right on and getting onto AOL or MySpace. And me as a kid, I was probably about 6 or 7, and it seemed pretty cool. Yeah, from what I got, the best part about the computer was playing games on it. That was pretty much all I was really into. But my siblings, of course, had other ideas. I had three older siblings. I have 3 older siblings, and they jumped on the MySpace bandwagon so hard. They would spend hours on the computer with their MySpace pages. I don't even know what the fuck they were doing. Honestly, I would just sit there and watch and look with intrigue for hours as they designed their pages and uploaded pictures and had thousands of friends. And even then, the connection just wasn't there for me. I was like, who are these people? What do you mean friends? You're not ever going to go see them or talk to them. How are they your friends? And why do you care? Why do they care about seeing this random grainy ass picture of you that barely even looks like you. I'm just confused completely. And I have remained confused somehow. Somehow I don't get it. I did assume that I would grow into liking or understanding the appeal, but as I grew and social media grew, we grew separately for the most part until our paths crossed. And our paths crossed when I began my resin accessories business. And I primarily wanted to sell online, so I had to figure out how to make social media work. I had to figure out how to get it. And even today, there still seems to be a roadblock in why would anybody want to look at any of this? And maybe it's just me being insecure, or maybe it's just the imposter syndrome kicking in. But I still haven't figured out a reason for why people would want to see these things. I still haven't figured it out. And maybe that's just a me problem. There are plenty of things that I'd rather be doing, but social media is something I have to do to help build my business and just grow a future for myself. So that's why I'm on Instagram and I'm on TikTok. Yeah, Instagram, TikTok. Have both of those. And I work on both of those actively because I have to. Not necessarily because I enjoy it, but I have to. So I do. And, my aversion to social media, I don't even call it aversion because I still go on there. It's just, I feel like it doesn't do for me what it does for a lot of people. I don't go onto social media and think, oh yeah, I should like this post or I should comment on this. Typically I go on there and I look at it and I'm like, why? Why? What was the point of that? Or what was the point of doing that? Or usually I'm just completely disgusted with what I see and I just click off immediately. So it's hard for me to understand how it has gotten a grip so hard on society and my peers, and it also has a grip on me because I can't really escape it, and I basically can't make it without social media, and it seems like it's getting harder and harder to exist without it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm well aware of the fact that this is a first world problem. This isn't a real issue. This isn't something to go cry about or to be sad or grieve or mourn over. It's really just, oh no, you don't like social media? So fucking what? And I agree, it's not that big of a deal. But there are some consequences, just a few, and I'm gonna go over them right now. So starting with the first problem here. Social media is becoming more and more and more expected of people within the modern societies. It's not normal to meet someone and then not have a social media. If I'm gonna meet someone, I'm gonna ask for their Instagram, their Facebook. I'm gonna scroll through their shit and look at their pictures. How many likes did they get? How many followers did they get? How long have they been on Instagram? What does their bio say? Do they have a boyfriend? Do they post their cat a lot? I'm gonna look into all of that. And if I see that there's absolutely no social media, that there's nothing, I'm gonna be like, why? And maybe that's hypocritical of me because that's exactly what a lot of people do. That's exactly what they do. If they meet you and they don't find anything about you that's just readily put up there and put into the atmosphere, put into the social realm, they're gonna assume you're a weirdo. They're gonna assume that you have something to hide because you aren't putting out any information. And that's what I have been getting with some jobs. They expect to see a full social media profile. And not in a very, very good one that shows you with good behavior, one that shows you saving kittens from trees and shit. That's what they want to see. And if you aren't showing that, or you're showing nothing at all, that's cause for concern for a lot of people. Having social media just generally makes you more trustworthy because you're putting out some information. At least you're giving people something to go off of. Whereas if you have nothing, no one can find anything on you. They're gonna be like, it's kind of weird. Where'd they come from? This Joe Goldberg motherfucker right here. Let me get the fuck on. So another consequence that you might face is not being able to converse well with your peers, because a lot of the culture and the main events, the trends that are happening, they happen on social media or at least they're started on social media. So if you have no idea what's going on social media, what are you supposed to talk to your friends about? You're going to be the one being left out of the conversation because you don't even know the people they're talking about. Random people who you don't know, who you have to somehow understand and be involved with just to converse and feel like a normal part of a group. And another consequence is just not having the same job opportunities, really, especially when you're in the industry that I'm in. I am a business major with a marketing degree, and if you don't have social media that's like on and popping, they're gonna ask for that shit. They're gonna ask you to have 10,000 followers on each platform, and if you don't have that, they're gonna be like, oh, you must just be a shit marketer. You must be a shit marketer. Or at least that's what I think they're gonna say. Maybe not, but that's what I imagine. These might not be the worst consequences, the worst problems to have. They're most certainly not. But when you're just trying to grow a following, build a good life for yourself, travel, not be super rich and not really be in the way, they can be obstacles to overcome. So even though I don't completely understand social media, I have in recent years kind of gotten some sort of understanding of why people do it. The connection aspect is huge, and even though right now it seems like it's just overrun with like shopping ads and fucking boring ass meta courses and red pill content and fucking Temu ads, there's still this element of connection that people crave and they love it. And I've learned over the years that what makes it easier to love and care about and nurture a social media platform, what makes it easier is being able to talk and post and connect with people over things you're passionate about. I'm passionate about flower stuff, that kind of thing, and I make content around it and I make products around it, and I love it. And being able to speak with people about the things that I'm passionate about really does make it worth getting online, finding people to connect with, finding your community, posting a photo, and then being able to get feedback about the things that you're doing from people whose opinions or whose mindsets may be similar to yours. It feels good to know that you're not alone in any sense. You know that you're not alone in your interests. You know that you're just not alone in the feelings that you may have. That's one reason why people do love social media. When I'm able to find these connections with people who just seem to get me, it makes everything that comes with social media worth it. I don't necessarily enjoy making posts or writing captions or the scrolling, but I do enjoy communicating with people and getting opinions and new ideas from people who I admire and would love to be like. For me, it is really about building a community and surrounding myself with minds and people who are going to build me up and bring something positive to my life. One problem that I always have is every time I get on Instagram, it's some shit. It's always some shit every time. I can't scroll for like 30 seconds without seeing something awful. And honestly, as soon as I see something awful on an Instagram, I immediately click off and I don't come back. So whenever I am able to find something positive through all the mess, through all the garbage and clutter that's now just permeating a lot of the social media channels, I tend to hold on to that connection and that find because it seems like a needle in the haystack, really. The internet is huge, it's endless, it's just vast, and it makes it almost impossible to find the community, but also more possible than it's ever been to find a community. With all the people and the oversaturation, it's easy to fall into some rabbit holes and some toxic places where you just shouldn't be. But when you do find a place where you fit within the digital landscape, a community that you can just virtually go into and be yourself in, it's beautiful, really. It's what social media is made for, I think, and if there was more of that, more of the community. But if I, or maybe there is, maybe I just haven't found it. If I could just find more of that, I would be so in. I would be on the bandwagon. I'd be scrolling to see, what people are doing, how they are. I would care more on a personal level. When I say that social media, that the only way that I can really understand and have an appeal with to me is through the context of building a community, instead of just posting for validation or for likes or for money and sponsorships. That's what I mean. I mean that genuine connection is something that would bring me into the fold a lot more than what I normally see. So I still don't quite get the hype about social media. It's something that just flies right over my head, but there are components that I really do admire and appreciate, such as the community building aspect and the being able to stay in contact and up to date with people who you care about. I think that social media is amazing for that, and for giving people that resource for free a lot of the time. For now, I think. So why I don't get it, I don't know, but I assume, maybe my desire to connect with just random people at least is just lower than some other people's. I do have a desire to connect with those who share my same interests and passions and just way of thinking. But it's just the random strangers doing random things, mundane things that I don't get why I would want to see, or why people would want to see that from me. I think it could be that maybe most of the things that bring me joy and happiness don't really have to do with other people seeing it. I take so many pictures. I love taking them. They're fun, they're creative, they're bright, and I just love being able to express myself through photography. But I rarely post them, and it's not because I don't think they're good photos or worthy of being posted either. I just don't see why anybody else would care. And and if connection is the goal of social media, and I don't see why anybody else would care that I was in, I don't know, Seattle or something, then why would I post it? I don't necessarily understand it completely. I want to keep on trying. I want to keep on connecting and keep on building my social media pages up so that I can have this reach and access to newer communities and things that I may enjoy. I assume that I will grow into liking it and grow into understanding it, grow into being able to utilize it as a tool like so many people have. But it seems like I didn't grow into it as I thought I would. And I've grown into it in the sense of, oh, this is our world now, and this is how things work. But I haven't grown into liking it or seeing it as something super duper valuable or entertaining. Even today, I have social media. I have Instagram and TikTok, and now I'm on YouTube if you want to consider that social media. But I do utilize it now, and I utilize it more than I ever have now, especially because of my business that I am running. But that certain appeal, that certain draw that I see from people, I can't feel it within myself, and I wonder if I did feel that, I would probably be a lot more successful in my career choice, because I am a marketing professional, a content creation professional. I have a degree in business, specifically marketing. So I figure social media is one of the biggest marketing platforms out there. And if I had that drive or had picked up on that appeal, then I'd be more successful, I think. My goal is to sell online and be able to make a living through these digital means, sell my products and build a community and connect. I want connection, just like everyone else. I don't get how to get that through social media, but I'm looking for solutions, looking for ways. My mind is open. I want to be taught. I want to understand. Bring me into the world, please. Drag me, take me, please. I want to sell online, and the main problem is, how do you find an audience online when you've never gotten social media? You've never done it. Maybe I sound like a boomer. Remember, I'm only 24, but I still don't really get it. And it's frustrating, really, but it it hasn't been a hindrance to my life as much until this point in me building my business. Recently, I've gotten into social media on a higher scale, but more so out of necessity than anything. I really don't know what my malfunction with understanding this is, but I am going to keep connecting and reaching out and trying to understand what posting videos of lip syncs and TikTok dances does for other people, because I really do want to understand. And you know what? I kind of do want to hop on the fucking bandwagon. It seems like a fun fucking wagon to be on. Honestly, it seems like a good time, and I want to get it too. But until I do understand it, I'm gonna keep on posting videos on YouTube. Hopefully you guys will stick around, subscribe, like this video, to get me up there. And maybe those prior platforms that I had, they just weren't for me. Maybe YouTube is. So here we are, giving it a shot. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.